Mindful that anything that comes across your cameras or your microphone will be a matter of public record. We are now officially recording the youth committee for LWIA 23 today, March 21st, 2022. And with that, I will let the meeting get started.
Good morning, everyone. Tiffany was not able to join us today. She'll be here for the full board meeting, but wasn't able to make the youth committee meeting. So we'll go ahead and get started. Can we have a roll call, please?
Dave Cole. Amy Corbin.
I'm here.
Lori Jennings.
Here.
Chuck Jones. Adam Flack. Tiffany is not here. Casey Bergholzer.
I'm here.
Sally Schauber.
I'm here.
Chris Stroll.
Here.
And that is it for the official members. And yes, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Tony. We'll go ahead and review and look over the minutes. And if there are any questions to the minutes, we'll entertain those questions now. No questions, we would accept a motion to approve the minutes as presented from the December 13th meeting.
All motion. It's Amy Corbin.
Thanks, Amy.
I'll second. Lori.
Thanks, Lori.
Do you have to do a roll call vote on that, or can we do a voice vote?
Okay. That's a motion by Amy and a second by Lori. All approved, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next, number 3 on our agenda is report on activities and programs for our youth. I'll turn to Lori and Elaine for an update.
Okay, we've had a busy few months. Lakeland College was here back in February. They did our annual program monitoring for the youth program, in addition to the adult dislocated worker and trade programs. There were no findings through this monitoring visit. They will be back here the week of April 4th to do our fiscal monitoring. And DCEO will be here to do our program monitoring in May, but we haven't been given a date for that visit just yet. WIA staff, we've met with Head Start, family advocates, parent-teacher educators, to provide information on WIA programs, services, and recruitment efforts. We've also met with the CSBG homeless intensive case managers, also providing WIA information. And then we also attended the URBA staff meeting that was held March 2nd in Greenup. And we gave all the information to their staff in hopes that we can do a little recruiting from that area. We've been Laker Visit Day. We're doing that almost on a monthly basis. We attended the Student Services Symposium on March 4th. Right now, we're getting ready for summer semester, and our online application is still available, that people can go to that, our CFS website, and start the application process. But we are doing that. Probably we won't be doing in-person applications until probably the beginning, either the latter part of April, beginning of May. And we've really been doing a lot of outreach. The case managers are we're kind of running ourselves ragged right now, hitting a lot of the area high schools and employers, and we're just really amping it up as much as possible. And we're starting to see some things kind of break loose for us. We've got a lot of kids that are interested, not so much on the work experience. A lot of the kids that we've been in touch with, they're already working. So, but we have lots that are interested in returning to school in the fall. And so that's a good thing. But we are still reaching out, looking for kids for work experience. And right now, we currently have 79 customers receiving career and or training services in the youth program. And we've exited 35 to date. And so the total number served is 114 right now. So that is my report. Do you want me to move on to the performance?
I was gonna ask if anyone had any questions on anything that Lori had covered during her report on activities and programs for youth. Hearing none, Lori, if you would move on to performance measures and current status.
Lori,
Okay.
do you have
I'm-
to share your screen? Do you still need to?
Yeah,
I got it.
Okay.
Do you want to
I
change?
think you
the-
disabled it.
Do you got it?
It doesn't.
Okay, make a co-host
Yeah,
for
make her
Lori.
co-host. Yes.
All right, try now, Lori.
There we go. There we go. Okay, the youth performance measures. If you will look down on the fourth measure, which is the youth credential attainment rate, we're showing that we are meeting, which is a good thing. We would need one more youth in that measure to actually exceed the measure. And then if you look at the youth measurable skills gain, we are currently at a 32.04%. We need to get that 90%, the 46.8% to meet. And we need 14 youth in that measure to meet that. To exceed that measure, we need another 20. So probably by the end of the school year, as kids are finishing high school, they're graduating from college, those numbers will increase at that time. So we're fairly confident we're going to either meet or exceed all of those measures. And the other three at the top, we're exceeding those. So we're in good shape there. So we got a little more work to do, but as our case managers do follow up with our customers, that's when those numbers will increase for us. So we're right on track at this point. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. We'll move on to number 5 on our agenda, which is youth recruitment, which kind of falls into just what Lori was talking about the number of students that have been served this year, the number of students that they're looking at exiting the program and becoming completers. And then also, how do we recruit new students into our programs? We did have, and kind of 5 and 6 fall a little bit together. I'm going to ask Lori about the youth case manager. I know you guys have been advertising for youth case manager. Do you have any updates or anything good to say about a new youth case manager coming in?
Chris, was that for me?
Did you miss it? Did I not?
I did. We've got people that are doing wiring here and they want to get in this room and I'm trying to hold them off as long as I can. So I'm sorry, will you repeat that?
To give us an update on hiring of youth case managers in the area to serve our youth community.
We've got some applications from throughout our 13 counties. We're not having a whole lot of luck in the hiring process at this point. People are not returning phone calls or have taken other positions. And so we're still working on that.
I have seen you have it posted out on social media. I have been sharing that on my social media. So anyone who has social media, Lori, could you share that again, maybe in the next day or so, that people could share it on their own social
The job
media
ad.
page?
Yes, I'll be happy to.
I know that's not always the way to find people, but boy, it sure does get the information out there very quickly. Youth recruitment. So now we know Lori is in search of that youth case manager, 2 youth case managers, right, Lori?
We're hoping, 2 to 4.
Any ideas on where to find a youth case manager? Any recruitment ideas from the group as we kind of talk about what youth recruitment could look like? Because as we saw in the numbers, those first 3 looked really good. We did meet the 4th one, and the 5th one of those requirements, we're not quite meeting that requirement yet. With 79 customers, 35 have exited for a total of 114 students. How do we recruit additional students into our programs? I know Jamie's got some information from one of our last meetings that she might be able to kind of get us started on that conversation.
Yes, so I don't remember the exact date, but early in February, most of this committee met for what we called an emergency huddle. So we just kind of wanted to create, the thing about the youth committee that is wonderful is you guys have excellent discussion. There are so many great ideas, but it's been kind of hard to follow up and track where that discussion has went. So Tiffany Mackey put together an action plan chart, and as a group, we went over it with some ideas of what we need to do and really assigning who should be in charge of them, take ownership of it, and putting deadlines. What we thought was going to be a quick 15-minute huddle turned into like an hour-and-a-half discussion, because that is how dedicated everyone is to making sure that we're doing the outreach we need to for the youth side of things. So from that huddle, one of the things that came up was the school counselor symposium that was done on March 4th. So that's actually something we can check off. One of those things on that action plan is done, complete. Then looking at other outreach potentials, we identified LIFT, Mattoon Library, Birth to 3 program, Mattoon Schools, mental health service caseworkers, brochure, and the elevator pitch. It looks like we assigned Chris to doing some outreach at LIFT, Mattoon Library, and Birth to 3 program. Tiffany and the HRC will be doing outreach to mental health services, and then Lori was getting together the updated youth brochure and elevator pitch to the committee. We're also looking at data collection. So we've done external roundtables. How are we going to use those to get more data, more information from the region? So we're looking at potential roundtables for the childcare providers, for employers. We're also looking at internal focus group, new caseworkers, past clients, people that the boots on the ground that have been immersed in this youth program and getting some of their information that can help lead us to doing good things at the committee level. And then we did not get to fully looking at the next 2 sections of our action plan chart, which include marketing, external. So we have the outreach of potential partners and data collection that's kind of internal, but marketing externally, and then communications internal. So for marketing, we're looking at potentially creating testimonials based on input from past clients. We're looking at some sort of texting service so that we can text out information to potential partners or participants. And we're looking at creating a youth ambassadors program. As far as communications, these huddles are really great. So we do want to plan additional Zoom check-ins real quick between regular committee meetings. So we're looking at doing one in April, one in May, one in July, August, October, November, January, and February, but that is fluid and can change depending on the needs of the committee. And then it says committee to let staff know when we have marketing for the program by email, and that's a committee as a whole thing. So to make a long story short is we are in the midst of creating actionable results and leveraging this committee to its full potential in increasing outreach to potential participants, partners, all the above, getting the word out there, because that's the main thing. We're the best kept secret. If we can just get the word out there and have more participants aware of what we do, we might be able to pick up a few more along the way. Anyone who was in that huddle, did I miss anything major? Do you have any other input? Because my memory is actually quite foggy.
Do you guys have like a goal? I can't remember if we talked about that, Jamie, or not, numbers wise. Is there like an aim of a specific goal you're always trying to strive for every year as far as service to youth?
I think Lori would be able to answer
Lori,
that.
we have to come up with a plan.
Well, it's based on our allocations for the year. At
Okay.
this point, with, the amount of money we have to spend, it's put everybody on you can at this point. So usually we give slot numbers at the end or the beginning of each fiscal year or program year. And, but we're so far behind. I mean, we gave out slot numbers. We didn't meet those last year. So it's, normally we would give each county, so many slot numbers, try to divide it out as best we can. There's some areas that do better than others. So we're letting them put them on at this point. Just get some numbers.
So is the goal to like serve 200 youth a year, or, I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Well, it depends on, if it's school, work experience, it varies.
Yeah.
So I can't give you just a number based on
Okay.
the
So
money
can
right
you-
now.
Can you look back at your history and see kind of, okay, here's been our allocation, here's what we've actually served. Do you guys ever do that, like a review, data review?
Well, we have, but at this point, we're taking it a year at a time.
Okay.
Typically, I think typically we serve 150 or more youth each program year.
Mhm.
And a lot of that depends on, we have kids start on work experience, they don't complete. So, that has a lot to do, with how many are completing the program also.
Sure.
Because we can put 3 kids on and, a week later we lose 2. Or they start the, application process, they don't complete. If we've certified that file, they're our customer, regardless of, if they're keeping in contact with us or not. So there's kind of a lot of variables that go into that. I wish I could give you a definite answer.
So what the case managers do is they work specifically with each youth served to help them get through. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are the requirements for that position?
The new
case
position,
manager. Mhm.
the case manager position,
Mhm.
those are already working for us.
Well,
the
I
new
mean,
positions.
you said you had up to 4 openings for that. Did I misunderstand?
Yeah, that's just a new position.
Oh,
So
okay.
those would be not so much on the case management side. Those would be doing a lot of recruiting, going out, talking to employers, going out to the schools, just a lot of recruitment.
So that's outreach, really?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood. I thought you
Yeah.
said you were hiring 4 new case managers but you're not.
Well, we're hiring their coordinators.
Okay.
Specifically youth. Our other case managers, they do everything. They do youth, adult, discreted worker, and
Gotcha.
trade. So
Okay.
these people are dedicated youth. We've got it set up a little bit differently, than just a case manager.
Got you. Okay.
Does he need to get in here?
My name is Lori Porman, and I'm the Director of Human Resources for AgriFab, and I am new to this group, but excited to participate. And we are in the process, we do a student learner program. We are in the throes of, it's something we've done for years, and when you say best kept secret, we were not aware that there was a youth program, or I was not aware through this resource, but I have sent out probably on Friday, 8 letters to our surrounding schools. We really look within a kind of a 25-mile radius. We have some really strong relationships with some of the local schools. And what we do is we are going to present to the juniors and seniors, and we are setting that up as we speak. We will have conversations with them about summer work programs, but we also have youth 16 years and older that work with us through the school year. We've had some really great success stories. We've got some that are still with us. Our ultimate goal is that these individuals that will keep our local talent local, and whether they're going to college or whether they're individuals that are choosing not to go to school at this time, we have tuition reimbursement programs. I mean, there's just, I won't go into all of the program that we've developed, but we've been doing this since 2014. And of course, the last 2 years with COVID, we really kind of have not promoted it as we have in the past, just because of getting in the schools and doing all that stuff. So this year we're breathing life back into that again. And so I guess because we're in the throes of it, and I know it probably won't be now, but I would love to be able to have this conversation with someone to really tell me the in-depth what this program is all about and what it offers. Because what we'll do is we'll meet with the juniors and seniors. We set up actual interview times. We have them complete an application as well as a resume. We do both soft skills as well as professional skills for them. We have a mentor program where they have a mentor here. We bring them in. We do spend like an hour and a half interviewing each one. We give them immediate feedback on their interviewing skills. And, you know, then we put them to work. There's only certain departments that we can put individuals to work in when they're under the age of 18, but we've also had great luck, and we've got one young man that started with us while he was in high school that has incredible IT skills, actually went to school in Chicago and continued to work with us remotely, and now is a full-time employee for us remotely. But we also have individuals who work in our welding departments. One of them became a certified welding instructor that ended up leaving us like after 3 years, and you know, continued his career. And so I guess just because we're in the midst of it, any information to help me understand, and I would also love to present our program, because we get as much out of it. When I say blessings, we get as much out of it as the youth do. And I wish we had adults that work like some of our kids coming into. So anyway, I don't want it at a high level to share it, but as you guys are talking, I really don't understand the depth of the program. I'm here kind of listening, because this is something I'm passionate about, that I would like to participate in as far as being part of the this group. But if there's someone willing to share with me where we can set up time later, I can certainly share my contact information. I know Jamie and Tony both have my contact information, and so I can maybe understand a little more in depth, and I'd love to present our program at some point in time to this group. We've done it at manufacturing events, we present it, and it's something that is, and we pay them, our starting rate is $16.85, plus we have $1 per hour for attendance program, and that is what we pay our youth.
That's great.
So
Hey, Lori, when do you start your student workers? What month?
well, they go throughout the year. So sometimes what I love is that we have administrators who are very involved in their students' lives. And like, for example, at Ocala Valley, when they've got a young person who can come, they can work throughout the year for us. And we're very flexible with our schedule for them. But for our summer program, we start typically the week after school is out.
Okay. We definitely want to have this conversation like yesterday with you. We would love to give a little more information about the work experience program.
Sure.
On our side. So if you've got any time this week, we would be happy to sit down. We can set up a Zoom meeting and
Okay, that'd be
just
great.
go through specifics. That'd be wonderful.
So maybe Lori, you could send me, or whether we facilitate it through Jamie or whatever, but could send me your contact information and I would be
I-
happy to touch
I
base.
will be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Lori, do you think that you guys would be interested in speaking to local administrators about the program? We were kind of involved a little bit with No Job Left Behind years ago. I remember.
That's where it, and two, we
Yes.
kind of started that
Right.
because it was actually through Thyssen Krupp, who was the originator of this program.
Yes.
They came and spent time with us. We developed a program and then we worked with Lori Minor and stuff and we came up with No Job Left Behind.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. We would be willing. And we do, when we go into the schools, we present to the administrators as
Sure.
well as the eligible students. And then we have meetings with their parents. We bring
Well,
them
it's
in and give them a
great to
tour
hear
and
that- Yeah, it's great to hear that this is still going because I really wasn't sure what happened with it. I knew you guys were doing it years ago, but I wasn't sure if it's still moving forward. And if you guys, sorry, my phone, if you guys have a presentation, it would be awesome to
do.
share with counselors so it could be replicated with other employers.
exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to mute myself.
Lori, this is great information to share, and this is exactly the conversation we want to have, where employers have got benefits that they offer, and how do we help those youth and or adults as they are looking at expanding their career. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for what you're doing in your own community. I know that Tony has put Lori's information in the chat. Lori Jennings' information in the chat too. So Lori Porman, if you would also put your contact information in the chat, that would be super helpful. So that if Sally or anyone else on the call wanted to get a hold of you and talk about any of the programming you have going on, that would be great. So we look forward to you joining us. You are definitely now going to be on our agenda to be joining us from now on.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else as far as youth recruitment or huddle follow-up? Jamie, there was a few things that you brought up. Is there any action that we need to have before we plan on meeting again in April to kind of go through some of these areas?
I would say the action would be to update the progress of some of the outreach that we've already said that we would be doing to lift Mattoon Library, Birth to 3 program, Mattoon Schools, mental health service caseworkers, and the brochure and elevator pitch. The next huddle would be most likely focused on just finishing out this action plan chart to get some more dates and ownership over the last few items that we have on there. And then really just jumping in and doing the things. Lori and her team have been excellent at doing stuff, and we just keep putting more and more on their plate. So we really felt like this was the best way that we could support them and try to help them in their initiative. So if we can get this action plan finalized, finished, and then start doing those actions, we're in a great spot.
Hey, Chris, you had mentioned Lyft. Tabitha does have an appointment with the principal from there. He reached out to us. So we're going to be providing some information to him, I think later this week.
Is she meeting with McLean Schaefer, that's the coordinator there, or is she meeting with high school principal? High school principal?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of go back a little bit. I had a conversation with superintendent at Mattoon recently. We talked about Birth to 3. We talked about doing some things with the library and how we could coordinate between Lakeland College Library and through the LIFT program, and trying to figure out how to best serve. We talk not only about youth, but also how to serve adults. So I think that the conversations are starting. It's just getting that information out there. And I do feel like we're moving past some of the things that were holding us back in the pandemic. So hopefully we'll continue to move forward. I'm gonna put Amber Kidd on the spot. Amber joins us for our youth committee, but Amber comes from ROE3 and also is over in alternative high school. So Amber, what could we be doing, or how could we give you resources to help some of the kiddos in your program?
I'm super excited about the work program with FAB, especially we hadn't heard about that one before. We've done a little bit of work with CEFS, so that's fantastic. Honestly, kiddos are really struggling with their mental health. I know that's not really what this group is for, but trying to get them regulated on a daily basis so that they're ready to go out and learn and work. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I know that's not necessarily what this group is for, but sorry, Chris, you put me on the spot there.
I think that's something that many of our youth are struggling with, not just at-risk youth, but many youth are struggling with some mental health concerns. And that's something we've even talked with employers about. And again, that's youth and adults. How do we help them be good employees? Do they need mentors within the workplace? Do they need mentors outside of the workplace? What does that look like, and how can we best help them? I think
Sorry, Chris. We do have a few mentors that come in, and that is really helpful. We do have a seniors class where we put all of our seniors through a careers class so that they do resumes, applications, interviews. They do soft skills. They do a little bit more work in that job preparedness area. So we do have a class specifically for that. But it's always interesting to know when kids have to interview with someone that they don't know. It gets them a little bit more prepared for that real-time job interview. So we would also look for maybe some partners who would want to come in and conduct interviews for us, or let us bring our kids to you so it does them more skills ready for that real job interview.
Amber, could you remind everybody where you've got alternative high schools at? Just even that piece of it.
Sure. Right now we are actually located in the land building here in Effingham, and we serve all of Effingham County plus part of Fayette County. When our sister site in Vandalia fills up, I also have a kiddo from North Clay, and we have served kiddos from Sioux Straws before. I was trying to think if I had others. Oh, Flora. We have served kids from Flora before. So primarily Effingham County schools.
Amber, how many students do you have right now?
I have 45 in my high school. We do have a junior high program. I don't know how much work you guys will do with junior high programs, but I do have about 12 kids sitting in my junior high program.
Yeah, mainly we focus on the kids that are either the second semester juniors and seniors.
We're pretty heavy on juniors. I was just working on SAT. So I've got 16 juniors sitting here this year, and about 10 seniors. So
can we come out and talk
Absolutely.
to your group before the end of the school year?
That would be fantastic. Yes.
Okay. So if somebody reaches out, is it best to get you by email or call?
Can we put that in the chat? Would be helpful.
Amber's got her information in the chat. So if anybody's got any information for Amber or out, and Lori, just to kind of give you a little background, Amber's program will be similar to our Pathways program. So students that were at the high school and maybe just had some struggles at the high school for a lot of different reasons, are in an alternative setting to be able to achieve their high school diploma.
We have gone and presented to like the Humboldt School and stuff. We've been in that location, I know.
And we do a lot with alternative ed, like in Vandalia, where now that program, those kids are considered out of school, but your kids are considered in school because you're not funded by adult ed, correct?
Correct. We are not.
We will get in touch with you.
Okay, that sounds
Definitely.
great. Thank you.
I feel like we covered youth recruitment and also the huddle follow-up. Jamie had brought up a little bit about youth roundtables for our number 7 on our agenda today. Can you go back over the youth roundtable?
Yes. So what we have is external roundtables, childcare providers, ? Employers ? So I don't think we made a whole lot of progress there's no ownership, it hasn't been assigned or committed to, and we don't have any deadlines. So if you guys want to talk about that today, it's open.
So I guess the question to the group would be, do we want to talk about roundtable or a focus group of individuals we would get together? If we do want to do that, who are the individuals we're going to get together? Are they going to be educators, employers, social service, some of all, or a specific area? So any input on that? Any ideas, anything you think would work or have seen would work?
We used to host a youth program. Actually, it was through No Jobs Left Behind, and we did it locally here in Sullivan, but we invited area schools and administrators. And then we brought in, at that point in time, I don't know, I mean, it could be, actually, there were roundtables where we had conversations with these individuals, but we brought in employers as well. And then we would sit with them and have specific questions that would be asked, and they'd go from table to table, certainly to share their feedback and that information. That's something, again, that we used to do pre-COVID, and we had a large attendance when we did that here. So that's something, and it just can certainly be updated and can evolve to a new level, but that's something I know that I have supported in the past. And we'd have speakers and tchotchke stuff to throw. They had prizes, we had laptop giveaways, and I mean, we did lots of different things and bring in the area high school students.
Was that the one that was at the VFW?
Yep.
Okay, I do remember that. Okay. Other suggestions for roundtable ideas? I like the idea of bringing employers in and talking about what they can help our youth in our area with.
I guess it depends on who you're looking to serve, right? Are you looking to have a youth roundtable with students, or are you looking to have a youth roundtable to help serve students, right? Is that what you're thinking, Chris? Who knows? Either way.
Do either.
Yeah, it sounds like based on our discussion at the huddle, we considered both. Doing one that was external for employers, and then doing one that was more internal for our knowledge, and by getting past clients and caseworkers involved so that we'd have a more thorough understanding of the process or the obstacles or whatnot.
So I guess it depends on what serves the goal the best, right? What serves the goal?
So the goal is to more participants so we can meet our goal based upon the allocations that we receive. So does it make sense to start with external, or does it make sense to start with internal? I mean, do we get a group of students that are currently being served in our program and ask them 4 or 5 questions? How did you find out about us? What was the benefit? Get together a few questions for that and then go external, or do we want to start external and then come back internal? Looking for suggestions on what you think would work.
I think starting with the students you're serving, students that have been served, and even those who maybe would have exited before completion, just to find out what maybe the issues, the barriers, or the things that they've come across that either made them successful in the program or made them leave the program, and then kind of go from there with that piece of it, and maybe get a plan together as to how to move forward with, you know, within the guidelines of what could be done, you know, with the criteria of the program, and then work on the external portion of it once you understand and identify the issues with the students that you're trying to serve. That would be my suggestion. You may have a better aim with employers and external if you know what internally everybody's coming from.
Yeah.
Other suggestions?
I think that sounds great.
Lori, do you think it would be, what would it take to get some current youth, former youth together, whether it be on a Zoom call or an in-person? Do you think that's possible to get them together to kind of pick their brains and ask them a few questions?
I think it might be really hard to do that. I don't know if we could do just a real quick, you know, most of the ones, you know, when they come in, we find out, you know, how did you hear about the program? A lot of times we do know why they leave. And then other times they're gone, and those are ones that we can't do follow-up on because they don't return phone calls. They don't return text. You know, once they're gone and finished with us, they're finished. We don't hear from them again. I mean, we could probably do something, I don't know.
Like a
The ones we need the information on are the ones we're not going to be able to get a hold of. That's the problem. A lot of the kids quit because their transportation breaks down. They don't have any transportation. That's basically why they quit, or they get in and it's not what they thought they were getting into, and they just drop out.
So if you have the information as to why the students left, is there maybe something we could review as a group to see how many students left because of transportation, and because I know that there are options for that. How many students left because it wasn't what they expected it to be? What did they expect it to be? You know, to kind of maybe start conversations about, you know, if we're going to market, we need to be sure to hit those points that meet what people expect to get from the program, or tell them the details of what it is. Not that it's not already there, but maybe if you have specific reasons why it didn't, you know, wasn't what they thought it would be, kind of change wording or whatever to make it more clear, or I don't know. If you have that data, maybe we could review that for some, you know, reason as why, you know, people don't stay in the program. And then obviously the success stories, you're probably going to get more participation from those that have benefited, which is a good thing. But then they might also have some ideas about what they found most difficult, or what they liked better than other parts of, you know, participating. So I think that if we be creative, we may not actually have to speak to the individual themselves if you have that information about why they left or why they didn't complete the process.
Well, I'm wondering if that internal piece and the student testimonial almost tie together. Because if we could bring in a couple of students that would be interested in providing a testimonial on success, or where they've been, what they've done, how the program has helped them, we could probably almost work with, or we could work with them a little more and find out what would be a better way to market it? Who are we missing? What were some of your friends that could have benefited from this program that didn't, and why? They might be the ones that could give us some more robust answers.
Do you guys do like an intake interview, Lori? Am I muted? Sorry.
An intake interview?
Yeah. Like when
And
when they get into the program, do you ask them kind of those questions that Chris was just talking about, or Amy, like, how'd you hear about us? What's your goals? Those kind of things.
yeah, we do that as, when they first come in, we get just kind of a general profile sheet. How did you hear about the program? Just basics. What are you looking for? We kind of take kind of a holistic approach, maybe not just work, are you housing, food, shelter, all of these
Then
things.
at the end, do you do a exit interview with them?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But, during that application process, we also do that assessment piece too, where, we're getting a lot more information.
So you should have some data from intaking and exiting, right?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of reports. It doesn't pull that information.
Okay.
We've got lots of reports we can run, but reports like that, I don't think it's going to pull that information and
Okay.
come out with a report for us.
Could you do like a Google survey of just a real quick Google survey of kids that are currently participating and having success? And then just ask those questions, and maybe why would your friends maybe not have participated, or what, I don't know, just anything that would get them to thinking. And
yes, that would be quick and easy. We could do that.
So it sounds like maybe internal is where we would like to start. How about if for the next meeting, and we'll look at an April Zoom meeting, or, I mean, gosh, let's talk about maybe someday we'll meet in person again, that we'll actually get to see each other. Thinking about some ideas for internal, and of course, again, I always feel like when we have these meetings, we're piling more onto Lori's plate, and that is, please remember that it's never our intent to pile more on Lori's plate, but to be trying to help them and work in collaboration with their program to be able to serve more students and be able to figure out how do we get some more students in this program, because we know there are students out there that need our help. And it's just, where are they and how do we get to them? They sometimes are the hardest students to find, the ones that need the most help. And again, that goes not just for youth, that goes for adults also. So maybe for the next meeting, we kind of hone in, kind of go down the rabbit hole on what this internal piece could look like and how we could move forward with that. Does that sound like a good plan for the next meeting? Bringing some ideas of how to reach out to some of the internal folks, and then kind of what the external piece would look like as we get more information about internal students and caseworkers, et cetera.
And if I could share, I'm sorry, but a place where we have found that we get the best information on those students that truly need the support is from the administration of the school. So there are some administrators that are rock star administrators that know the kids and know their personal stories. And so really they could share, and I know there's some laws and stuff that protect them, they can only share so much, but what we have found, and I'll use Okaw Valley as an example, because they're the administration there, Mr. Schoaf, who is the principal, and the kids all love him. He's got such a great relationship, but he will call us specifically and give us names of students, and we'll kind of share their backstory, if you will. And those are ones that because they trust him, he can get them to apply, to come in and have conversation with us. And some of the stories that we hear are just heartbreaking, but however, it makes you want to pour into these kids. So the school administration is a great resource for finding kids that really need the help. So how do we reach out to them, I guess, and connect with them and leveraging and letting them know what's available for these kids? And even maybe talking to a principal, I'm sorry, or a superintendent that is very active with us, and how do they approach it? But I know they're an incredible resource for us.
I think Lori's group does do a lot or works with the local high schools, but I think anytime that we can get into the high schools, because you're right, the administrators, principals, guidance counselors, they've been dealing with some of those kiddos for the last 10, 11, 12 years. And they are very familiar with some of the things that they've been through. So I think that's a great idea, Lori. I know we're getting close because some of us have got the consortium meeting at 11. So last chance on any comments for a roundtable, and then also what kind of date were we looking at for April? Did we set any kind of tentative dates?
We did not. I'll do a doodle poll, send that out to you guys so that we can plan a date that's convenient for the majority of us.
Okay. So be expecting to see something from Jamie in the next few days for an April meeting. I'll move on to other business. Is there any other business? Seeing none, I'll move on to number 9, public comments. Anyone public comment? Again, Jamie will be sending out a doodle poll for our huddle meeting, our April meeting. Our June meeting will be the 21st.
Sounds right, yes.
I
The
think it's
20th.
actually 20th.
Is it the 20th or the 21st? I feel like it's the 20th.
These ladies are gonna let me know what time the next meeting is. And are we gonna look at in person?
We're very
Possibly.
hopeful for in-person, but I've said that 12 times now, so.
20th.
It is the 20th, looking at in-person, and if, I've sent out a survey to our board members to see what our June meeting will look like, so just stay tuned and pay attention to that e-newsletter that goes out every month. If you are not receiving that, let me know, I'll make sure that you get on the list. But that is where a lot of the communication about the board and meetings comes from.
Well, and I'll just let you know, I live 45 minutes from Effingham. And from a work schedule standpoint, because of everything going on, it is so much easier for me to participate via Zoom than to drive to Effingham and do the meeting and drive back. That takes up a significant amount
It's
of my day, so.
hybrid option, just for cases exactly
Yeah.
like we.
Not that I wouldn't love to come in, but there's competing priorities, so it's just easier for me to Zoom in.
Understand it, for sure, yes, but that is going to be high on my priority list for everybody, for every meeting, is to somehow incorporate a Zoom or hybrid option, because it's just easier for accessibility, schedules, abilities, all the above. So I am very dedicated to that and making sure that we go forward with a hybrid option.
Thanks everyone for attending. Again, we'll see you sometime in April. So everyone have a great Monday. I will take any motion to adjourn at this time.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Sally.
I'll second. It's Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
And for those of you who will be joining us for the consortium meeting, stay logged on. It will be in the same meeting room.
And all approved on adjourn, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Have
Post
a
same
great
sign.
day.
Motion carries. We'll see you in April.